It keeps the government from tracking me, Elwell said in a drawl that dragged government into 4 syllables. Apparently, Elwell had exceptional hearing, or the armadillo shell was some kind of echo chamber. Some fools, Elwell continued, believe tinfoil will stop the government, but they don't understand radio waves. Great. A science lesson from a man with an armadillo on his head. I nodded, keeping a straight face because I didn't want to anger a man who seemed a tad crazy. He watched me for a moment and went back to staring at his beer. I grinned at Joaquin, and he smiled at me. Joaquin didn't seem concerned, so maybe I shouldn't be either. I glanced at Elwell again. His eyes always had a calculating look that made me think there was a purpose for the armadillo shell that had nothing to do with the government. But what did I know? Chapter 2. What do you gotta do to get a drink around here? A man yelled from the front of the bar. He was one of 2 men playing a game of rummy at a high top. They were in here almost every day. Not shout for a drink, Buford, Joaquin yelled back. Or get your lazy ass. He caught himself as he glanced at Vivi, the owner and our boss, who frowned at him from across the room. Asteroid up here. Vivi's face relaxed into a smile. She would have made a good children's librarian, considering how she tried to keep things PG around here. Joaquin tilted his head toward me. I took a pad out of the little black apron wrapped around my waist and trotted over to Buford. Would you like another bud? I asked Buford. Or something else? Sure would, Buford said. There was a duh note in his voice, suggesting why else would he be yelling at Joaquin. Another Maker's Mark whiskey? I looked at Buford's card-playing partner as I wrote his beer order on my pad. You have a good memory, he said, looking at his half-empty glass. But I'm good. Good grief. I'd been serving him the same drink all week. I'd hoped I could remember his order. I made the rounds of the other tables. By each drink, I wrote a brief description of who ordered it. Beer, black hair rummy player, martini, dirty yellow Hawaiian shirt, gin and tonic, needs a bigger bikini. I'd seen way more oiled-up, sweaty, sandy body parts that I cared to in the week I'd been here. Not even my dad, a retired plumber, had seen this many cracks at a meeting of the Chicago Plumbers Union. Those images kept haunting my dreams, along with giant beach balls knocking me down, talking dolphins and tidal waves. I'd yet to figure out what any of them meant. Well, maybe I'd figured out one of them, but I wasn't going to think about that now. Nope. I preferred to focus on the scenery, because, boy, this place had atmosphere. And that didn't even include Elwell and his armadillo shell hat. The sea glass saloon I'd pictured before I'd arrived had swinging saloon-style doors, bawdy dancing girls, and wagon wheel chandeliers. This was more like a tiki hut than an old Western saloon, though thankfully I didn't have to wear a sarong and coconut bra top. I could fill one out, but I preferred comfortable tank tops. Besides, the Gulf of Mexico was the real star of the show. The whole front of the bar was open to it, with retractable glass doors leading to a covered deck. The sea glass catered to locals who needed a break from the masses of tourists who descended on Emerald Cove and Destin, the bigger town next door, every summer. Not that Vivi would turn down tourists' money. She needed their money to stay open, as far as I could tell. Like Dorothy, I was up for a new adventure and finding my way in a place that was so totally different from my life in Chicago. I only hoped that I'd find my own versions of Dorothy's Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion to help me on the way. So far, the only friend I'd made, and I wasn't too sure about that, was Joaquin. He and everybody seemed nice enough, but I was still trying to adjust to the relax.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.